What's shakin'? Hey, I'm Rick Jordan, and today we're going all in. I'm excited today because this is a follow-up to the previous training that I did around productivity and how to structure your day and get more things done. And when you have that, because if you didn't watch that one yet, listen to that one. It was about productivity, and there was a big thing that I talked about with quick hits, and a lot of that had to do around communication. You know, getting your communications out of the way first part of the day, all those things that take 5 minutes or less, but finish this and then go back and rewatch or just watch that one or listen to that one the first time, because today's the follow-up to that, all right? Today we're going to talk about how to actually get people to respond to you. And this is something that I've been teaching out in my businesses for years now, because this comes up all the time. And whenever I have a new person start, whenever we have a new person start and reach out, there's always this thing, right? And people tend to hide behind emails, right? For us, it's a ticket system. You know, it's you enter notes in this thing when we're dealing with an incident, and then you actually email that out to a customer. But, you know, I see this thing in my industry and service industries a lot, to where there's always this dependency on email as a primary form of communication. And today is the day this changes your life, because that is done for you as of today. It's done because you don't get the responses that you want. And this is something that I noticed years ago, and I don't get it. I don't understand why so many people just reverted to email as a primary form of communication. You know, and even law firms at one point I saw will actually use email and treated it at one point almost like instant messaging, like they were expecting responses immediately. And it's like, that's not what this form of communication is for. We've lost something with the phone call. And I don't think that you're going to be upset when you hear this, because at least I hope not. I mean, for my people, right? For everybody that's here right now, I know that you get frustrated when people don't respond to you. But take a look at your form of communication. If all you're doing is shooting an email out, they're not going to respond to you fast, because here's the three primary forms of communication, right? When it comes to a service organization. First, and this is in order of urgency, I'm going to give you that, right? The first is a phone call. Second is a text message. The third is an email. And the email, this is what I'm saying is going to change your life today. The email is only used for two purposes. That's it. Just two purposes. Because even if you receive an email in when you're in a service-based organization, and it reach out when we receive an email in for an incident, right? Somebody needs help. I train this out all the time, is you pick up the freaking phone and call first. I've talked about this before, but that's because people respond to phone calls. People actually will pick up the phone, and you know what? If they don't, your second form of communication is a text message, because 98% of text messages are actually read. Beyond that, that's really it, because there's only two purposes to use email. The first is for documentation. That's it. It's a reiteration of what you just discussed on the phone, or what you just completed for somebody, or a course of action that you've already conveyed in one of those other two primary forms. Because text messages are almost treated as like an instant message similarly, right? And that's the order of priority that I was giving you. A call is, hey, I need to talk to you right now. Right? And it's the best form of communication, because there's nothing that's left to be read between the lines. There's no assumptions that can be made. That's why a phone call is ultimately the best in any service-based organization, period, or really at all. Whether you're in a business, outside of business, whatever it is, you know, people will write emails and paragraphs, and everything is just TLDR, too long, didn't read. Because there's just so much information that's there. You can convey what you need to in a much clearer fashion with a phone call. And then that second method of a text message is the second most priority, because that's how people think it's, right? Phone call, okay, this is important, or we need to make sure that we understand each other. It's one of those two things. It's either urgent and important, or we're making the phone call for clarity's sake. Because things can be read between the lines and assumptions can be made when it comes to typing. That's with both the text message and email. So the first reason to actually send an email One of the only two reasons is for documentation, which can also mean reiteration, meaning you're listing out things that you've done. Maybe it's steps working a ticket. Maybe it's just a course of action that you collaboratively decided when you were talking on the phone, and you're just recapping. That's that reiteration that I'm talking about. That's documentation. That's it. That's all that it is. That's the first purpose to even use email. That's it. Beyond that, you shouldn't really use it as a primary form of communication. The second reason is to actually give somebody a direction based upon what you talked about. It is actually a reinforcement of what you just talked about. So when I said it's documentation, that's just kind of benign, right? Here's what we talked about. But then it's also, the secondary reason is for reinforcement. And this comes when it gets into action items, especially commitments that other person on the phone call, whether it's a customer, whether it's a vendor, or whether it's a prospect, whether it's a sales target, an acquisition target, whatever it is, whoever it is, that is to reiterate or just document those actions for that individual, especially for those actions that you need to be taking. Because if they say, hey, I will commit to do this, you can also say, hey, I committed on our phone call to do that. And that's what you put. It's like, here's the action items. Here's my responsibility, what I'm going to do. Here's what you said you committed to. If you're ever wondering why people don't follow up or they don't get stuff done that you talked about, it's actually because you didn't send an email after that. No joke. If you had a phone call, if you had a text thread, whatever it is, and you start to commit to things to each other when you're having this conversation saying, hey, these are our next steps. Here's what I'm going to do. Here's what you're going to do. Without the reinforcements of that email, you have an exponential less chance of that actually getting accomplished. You might know what you have to do, but now you're saying, here's what we collaboratively decided. People will think that you are on the ball, whether that's a customer, a vendor, a prospect, whatever. They will think that you are on top of your game and have such a higher level of respect for you because you sent that follow-up email to, one, document, or two, reinforce the commitments that you both made to each other. This is a short and sweet one today because I need you to understand, and this is a follow-up to the previous week here, right? The previous show that we did regarding productivity. But those quick hits that I talked about in the previous one, those absolutely should be a phone call first. A phone call first, and then following up with an email for either documentation, which that could be an update, right? And an email can be used as an update. That's the documentation that I'm talking about. If you already committed to something, now you're going to just report back and say, all right, it's done. My side's done. How are you doing on this? But if you don't hear back from me, you got to pick up the phone. Because remember, email is just for documentation or reinforcement, meaning reinforcement of the commitments that you just made to each other. That's it. That's all that it is. You know, you might argue at some point that it might be a good form of sharing information, right? Or sending information to somebody. That could be, but that's also, that sending of information is really just the follow-up or the documentation. You see what I'm saying? That's not really a third reason. If you need to send a PDF or you need to sign a document or something like that, the email is still just a follow-up. It's still just documentation of a conversation or a commitment that you just had or made. Primary forms of communication in this order are a phone call, then a text message, and then lastly is an email. And here's the beauty of this. You can use an email this way. I do this all the time. It's awesome. Very first line of the email. This is going to blow your mind. Hey, Joe, I just called you. Isn't that awesome? They're like, oh man, okay, this must be important. That sets the tone. Because if you did not reach somebody via a phone call or whatever, a text message, you send them an email, this is the follow-up that I'm talking about, to say, hey, Joe, I just called you. And the very second thing you put in that email after you just stated a fact, and this isn't being a jerk. You are literally just stating a fact. Hey, Joe, I just called you. What you are doing in that is framing up the context of the conversation as far as its importance and how on the ball you are. Hey, Joe, I just called you. The second thing you put in that email is your ask, or the most important thing that you need that person to know. Do not go into the backstory or the supporting information or all of this other junk, because that's the TLDR. Get out of the way first. After you say, I just called you, you get it right up front and say, could you do this? Or you say, I just completed this. Whatever the most important thing that you need to convey is, does not go at the end of your email. It's the very first part. Right after you say, hey, Joe, I just called you. It's powerful. This is why attorneys get crap done and why their emails are so short. No joke, because they don't have time. They're so busy. And this is you, right? Respecting other people's time and respecting and preserving your own time and energy is why you put this up front. You show that, hey, you know what? I know we need to get something done here. I know we're trying to collaborate. I'm going to put my ask right up front. And then I'll give you the supporting information. So it's like, could you sign this document for me today, please? That's it. And then you can go into it. You can go into the reasoning why. It's like, you know what? If we don't do it today, then we're going to miss out on this deal. And I know you really want to get into this slot that we have open for next month or whatever it is, right? And that's it. You're asking for it today, and then you're giving the reason. Because you're saying, hey, Joe, I just called you. Could you do this for me today? And then you explain why. It's powerful. This is going to get more responses to every form of communication that you have when you follow this method right here. And this is a follow-up, and this is why at Reach Out, we always call first. As far as communications, that's how you go all in.